Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt with the customer success team, and I'm joined here by Mary from our new products team with Layout Generator. Layout Generator was first launched last summer and was very well received by the industry. There was a lot of excitement around this new tool that could better understand potential lot yield early on and help land teams move faster when it matters most. Since then, the product has evolved significantly. Today, Layout Generator remains an early feasibility and scenario testing tool to help teams make no-go decisions faster when budget and speed are critical to the deal. Mary has worked with a lot of early users since the launch of Layout Generator, and today will be guiding us through the workflows that land teams have been using, from finding parcels to validating lot yield. She'll be highlighting what's new along the way, but if you have any questions, please feel free to toss them in the Q&A box in the bottom of your screen. So, hey, Mary, welcome in. I'm excited to see what you have for us. Would you start us off with one of the biggest workflow updates to Layout Generator?
Hey everyone, for sure, and happy to be back here talking about Layout Generator. So we had the new products team, and with working with all of our product developers, we really wanted to follow the natural order of land acquisition. So not just due diligence, not just that early feasibility, but even before that, by sourcing land and searching for land. So now you can research, evaluate, and also iterate different scenarios all within the Layout Generator. And I'll go ahead and, just kind of start us off with some examples. So right here, you'll see there's a few extra sections. So we do have this parcel search button here. So for instance, if I am looking for land, maybe in the area of Weddington, I can draw a custom area, maybe just around this section, and then I can start to add some different filters. So I can add, let's see, I'll add some I can add zoning type, so I can add a filter saying I only want residential. Maybe I also want size, so I can make sure we have from 100 acres to 150 acres, and I can apply those filters. So I can go ahead and just like click one of these pieces of land, and I'll just put X out that box for now. But what we can see is it brings us to this parcel right here. In this screen, we can see, all right, it's 106 acres, so it does match my criteria. We can see a little bit about the owner. We can learn about the zoning, schools, counting records, the valuation tax, parcels, building areas, all the types of information you might be looking at, when you're really first just looking at a piece of land or giving it that quick yes or no. Do I want to spend more time on this? And we can, you can here in our filters, you can, save these as a template. I do have a template for Conroe in here, but this really allows you to, kind of find different pieces of land. And, once you're ready to create a tract, you can press this button. So I do have a different parcel in mind today. So I'm going to just start by exiting out of my filter, and I'm going to go over to where I know my parcel is. So what I want to do is I want to add and actually real quick, I will show you this new zoning tab here. So maybe I do want to, kind of look around things in this residential. I can see residential, a lot of mixed, some commercial over here. So just a quick way to get over the lay of the land. You'll also see that there is this parcel view up here. So this is how we're going to search for parcels. So what I see here is if this is the parcel I'm interested in, it does bring up all of that information that I previously showed you. I can also add multiple parcels. So what you'll see here is I can add multiple ones, and you'll see all the different parcels come up here, and then I can create a total tract of this. So I am actually just going to go with this big parcel here. So I'm going to remove all of these. I have this one highlighted, and I'm going to go ahead and create a tract.
That's really, really cool and really great search features there. But once you've identified your parcel, what is typically the next step when you're evaluating the tract for a deal?
Yeah, so right now I just, named everything. You can see I have the MU, that's my initials, Wilson Road webinar. I did name it that because of Jim Wilson Road over here. But something I might want to do is I might want to consider using these folders. So what you can see here is there's my name, there's my colleague Alex here, some archive. I can actually check this little hamburger menu, and I can move it to my own folder. So you can see I have a few other, iterations of this one, a few others in Conroe, and it's just an easy way to be able to organize everything. So you can organize it by name, you can organize it by project, etc. We can also actually select multiple. So for instance, you can see there's a test here. There's a few parcels that have been labeled to be deleted. So I can actually check those, press the delete button, and I can actually delete multiple all at once. So a lot of things to just easily make it organized here.
That's really easy. Thanks for showing us the folders. That's super helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So, once you kind of organize everything, then we can go ahead and start to the next step of evaluation. So, here with the layers, as we've talked about in the past, we can flip on those flood zones, those wetlands. We also have slope and contours. The contours are pretty helpful because now you can actually see, okay, this is going from 530, 520. We know from the wetlands map that it looks like it's going down into some sort of wetland there. So we can kind of use it all to imagine our parcel. I will just be keeping on the flood zones and the wetlands today, just a little cleaner of an image. But my
Hmm,
first step would be to use these restricted areas. So I'm just gonna get started and start restricting everything around here.
that's awesome. And this information, the flood zones and whatnot, that's all pulled from local information, right? This is all county information?
Yeah, so it's either county or national information. So
Hmm.
I believe, well, we do know the flood zones do come from various FEMA maps, which is a national government organization. And our wetlands do come from the National Wetlands Institute. So we have all of that information there. I can just easily make a restricted area around here. And something to keep in mind is you can, easily adjust things. So for instance, I could add here. I could add a node. I can make it as much fine-tuned as I want, or as more fine-tuned. So I will be labeling this again as a floodplain. And something else we've added is this ruler tool, just another kind of measurement tool we have here. You can find the perimeter, the footage of each and every line I've made, and then the square footage of the total area. When we click the site info tab, now we can see the total amount of floodplain. So we can see there are two floodplain areas, almost 11% in this parcel. And I still have a couple other restricted areas to do. So, oh, here we go. So just gonna get these two.
Hmm. And I noticed you're not drawing these floodplains or anything outside the boundary. It's just not necessary to do that, right?
No, you can see I did it a little bit here, but that's just because I don't need to get so granular in that, and it's not going to count it in my additions there. So, uh,
Hmm.
this is good enough for now. I'm going to label this as a wetland. And Matt, something else really cool that we have added for a wetland such as this is this arrow tool here. So when I'm clicking the restricted area, you'll see both that polygon tool and the straight line. A lot of people have asked us, like, oh, well, could I just trace the river and then you create a boundary around it? And the answer is yes now. So that's what I just did. And you can see there, it's created some padding. And then I can actually edit that padding from the center. So if I want it to be 30, or I could make it bigger, smaller, depending on what I want for my project. So another easy tool to add into those restricted areas.
That's very cool. I saw that open space is one of the labels. If you created an open space, could you just move that polygon wherever on the platform, or do you need to recreate something to mirror that same shape?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, you can just like, for instance, I'm moving this wetland around. If this was like an open space, like a park, that is something that I would be able to do. I can just easily move it over and kind of experiment. Where do I want that clubhouse to go, or that swimming pool, or that, required open space to be? So.
That's awesome. Super easy. So really efficient use of time there in your prep setup. What are the next steps for drawing a layout for your project?
Yeah, so we are going to draw the roads next, but before I draw the roads, I do want to set myself up for success. So I want to
Right.
start by editing my primary lot size, and this will probably look different for a lot of you guys. We've edited the way we do lots types now. So we have this minimum lot dimension. For instance, I could put 60 for my lot dimension, and then we also included setbacks and the building footprints. So it's very dynamic. You can see as I'm changing the setbacks, it's going to be changing with me. And then I can also change my building footprint so I can know for sure that the pad of my home is going to fit in my lot if the lot is not a perfect square like this. So I can just apply those changes. And then I'm also going to edit my road width. This is the entire right of way, so it's going to be from the edge of one lot to the next lot, so including all of your sidewalks, parking lanes, etc. And you'll notice that we do have an alley as well. I can briefly show you guys that. But I can also change my turning radius or my cul-de-sac. I might do that a little bit later. But now that I have my road and my primary lot size ready, I am ready to draw my first roads. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. Here we go.
Fantastic. So, Mary, while you're drawing those out, I'm going to give a quick recap on Layout Generator for those that have not seen it before. So real quickly, Layout Generator is a quick early stage planning tool that lets you evaluate parcels on your own in minutes, as we're seeing here. Something we hear all the time is how critical it is to kill the deal early on and not waste time on deals that won't pencil out. Layout Generator was built to enable teams with the power to make that decision early on before committing any budget to the deal. Layout Generator directly replaces back of napkin sketches and math that teams normally would do on their own to evaluate a parcel. Now, with a clear visual, land acquisition teams can align on prospective deals quickly before submitting a letter of intent and arrive equipped for smarter negotiations with land sellers. Layout Generator isn't meant to replace engineers or land planners. Once your layout has helped you close the deal, customers have found it extremely helpful to align on context and vision with planners and engineers so they can see what you had in mind for the parcel before the first draft. And I see you're doing this very quickly. How's it going, Mary?
Yeah, I got the first, framework of it pretty quick, and then I was making some edits as you're talking, just to make those few tweaks. I always
Mhm.
recommend to people, just kind of get that first layout done, make a few tweaks, and then go ahead and press that generate layout button. So when I press this button, all of the lots are going to appear. And we wanted to set up that primary lot size because we wanted that purple cloud to be able to be easily seen. So
Mhm.
what we're seeing here, and it probably won't be perfect on the first time you draw, but it is an aid to help you draw. We are seeing all the different lots here. If I put my site info tab open, we can see there's 249 lots. And this might look different to some of you guys also because you now do see the buildable area. You can see how many square foots are in each buildable area. It looks like it's almost the same here, but just a couple square feet difference, just because of the lot size that it's generated. The corner lots will be a little bit bigger because we had bigger setbacks for them. But this really allows you to see like, okay, we have the building pad is going to fit, etc. It looks like there are a few changes that I can make on my roads. I can probably try to make this a little either less round, kind of curve it over a little bit more. Maybe I would want to add another cul-de-sac here, or maybe I'm happy with that. Looks like my cul-de-sac formed there, and I don't have anything too major out there. So can maybe make a few changes. And then once you make some changes, you just press that generate layout button to apply some of those changes. Here we go. And I know I did mention alleys. I won't be, putting an alley in this one, but it's pretty easy to change to alleys. We do have this switch tool mode, so I can easily switch this to an alley. And if I want to put it back as a road, I can switch it back. So good little tool for those who want to be using alleys. But so far I'm pretty happy with the roads that I have here. But I do want to add a couple of other lot types. Um,
Mhm.
let's see. So, Matt, should I add a single family or a townhome first? What are we thinking?
Let's start with another single family.
Okay. So I'll add another single family home here. It does default to that 70 by 110. I can make it even a little bit bigger. Maybe we want a premium lot type and such. We can do a bigger house or maybe about the same padding, just some more like yard space, for instance, I can apply those changes. And I did keep the depth as the same of 110. We can do a custom depth lot if we want. I will do something for different for a townhome, but for now I'll just keep that as a 110. So I'm going to draw a polygon around this area, and then that tells the program, okay, we want all of these homes to be those 80-foot lots. So I'll go ahead and just generate to save those changes. See how it looks. All right. From the site info tab, now we know that we have 15 of those larger lot sizes, and we've gone down to 229 of the other types.
It's also nice to see that change in color. You get the visual representation of those different lot types on the layout as well.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of see and understand the space, quickly be like, oh, okay, well, those are where the premium lots are. Or for
Mhm,
instance, townhomes, we can go ahead and add some of those.
mhm,
So I'll just add a lot type for townhomes. For townhomes, the way we've done it, as you can see, so the separation refers to how many feet between each unit or each building. And then we have, this is the size of the unit. So maybe 20-foot wide, 60 feet deep. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger to, have some sort of backyard for the townhomes. And then this min and max count here, this defines like how many units per building. So it's going to
mhm.
default at the between 3 and 6. So it'll have mostly 6 count buildings, but for instance, if there's not space for a full 6 count, maybe we're okay with building something as small as a 2 unit building, like a duplex. So just something to keep in mind, and it's the same as what we did for the single family. All I have to do is draw a polygon around the section that I want to be townhomes, press the button to generate the layout, and it's going to add those in here. So it looks like going back to that site info tab, we have 64 townhome units. Again, it's dropped for those primary ones, but we have quite a few good homes in here. What do you think, Matt?
I think it looks great. And also with, just with single family homes and townhomes, if you don't like the exact layout, you can always change the shape of the road and see, rerun the generate layout button, and it will reconfigure based on the changes to the road. So you can always kind of manipulate it just slightly to get exactly the layout you're looking for.
Yeah, maybe I would want to change a little bit something here. Maybe I'm happy. Maybe I'd want to put my townhome somewhere a little bit differently. But so
Mhm,
far, I think it looks pretty good. Maybe I actually want to come back and do some, add like a more restricted area here. Matt, I know you mentioned open space before, and we want to make
mhm.
sure our community has something nice, a good place for them. I did notice in this other community here, it looks like they have some trails or something back here. So, we always want to make sure we have a lot of green space for everyone. And I think that's something really important when designing a community. Like, we need that human touch to make sure our communities are livable spaces for everyone.
I agree. And I just wanted to point out that as you're creating these different spaces, it is calculating that area that's being used. So that way you have complete calculations for the entirety of the parcel as you fill in these spaces with restricted zones.
Yeah, and for instance, if I wanted to have an entrance to the park in this area, I could just actually use my restricted area to essentially delete a home. So I can delete a lot, which allows me to, maybe put an entrance to the trail or the wetlands here. So, and then it will show up in the site info tab.
Very nice. I know that teams are typically very cost conscious. They're always thinking about costs going into their deals. What other tools are there that are available to help build an estimate for a project cost?
Yeah, that's another great question. So we have added a few other features such as total road length. A lot of people will just take this number and then multiply it by their average cost per linear foot of road. So that's an easy way to make that calculation. I mean, we do have like the lots, the acreage, like the number of homes of each type you would be building. But we also have this grading quantities tool
Hmm.
which is, we are dirt people here at TraceAir. So we wanted to do something that kind of gives us some rough magnitude of cut fill. And these are rough magnitude numbers. I wouldn't take them face value. But it lets you know, like, okay, is this going to be a small, medium, or large dirt development project, you know? Maybe you're looking at the numbers, or maybe you make some changes to try to see if you can get something better. But it allows you to be like, oh, this is not even worth going to an engineer and getting a design plan if it's not going to work out at all. So really spotting those early deal killers and not wasting those 2 weeks with engineers or all of that money and time with them. And also, just so you can bid on a parcel of land if it's really competitive, and you can do it with confidence as well. So it looks like here there's quite a bit of cut, not as much fill, something good to keep in mind. But as we're zooming in, we can also see the elevation. So if I'm looking at lot 117, which is essentially the address lot number, it looks like it is 533.29 feet in elevation. So we can kind of compare it to everything around us to see, okay, well, how is the elevation changing on this proposed piece of land, etc.
That's really great. And with this information, similar to the information that we're seeing in our site info, this information is pulled again from the city or whomever has flown this site, and it's publicly available, right?
Yeah, so this would come from the city, county, whatever municipality has it.
Mm.
They use really big planes to do this on a really wide scale. So it's the accuracy is good enough for this early feasibility.
Yeah, I've heard a
Yeah.
few inches to a few feet potentially inaccuracy there.
Yeah. It
Is
it
there
it
any?
does vary.
It does. Do we have anything at TraceAir that would be helpful in this instance?
Well, so TraceAir does, we do a lot of drone flights and such. So, one thing we can do, and we do kind of offer directly in the layout generator, is this request more data tab. So you could easily just, request like a LiDAR topo scan, and send the request. And what's great about this specific, I guess, dashboard we have here is we already know the location and we already have like the boundary. So it just makes it a lot smoother to get that quote and get a request of the LiDAR. I believe our LiDAR is accurate to a tenth of a foot, so in some
Hmm.
cases that's a lot more accurate than that 1 or 2 foot accuracy. So later down the line, once you're serious about a parcel, you can just easily do this request, and we already have the boundary, so it makes it a lot easier on everyone in the team.
That's fantastic. Now that you've got this kind of in a good spot, if you wanted to share this with others, what is the best way to go about doing that?
Yeah, so we do have this export tab over here. We can either export as a CAD file or as a PDF. I can show the PDF version here. Give it 1 second.
Hmm.
Are you able to see this, Matt?
Yeah, sure can.
Awesome. So this is just a quick overview of everything. It did remove the labels, so it's a little cleaner of a look, but it's still color coded, so you can see, all the floodplains, a little summary of everything, and also all of the lot types. So something pretty easy you can just stash in the filing cabinet. You can put in your, virtual filing cabinet, or, send to someone in leadership at the city, etc. So good little overview here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that it has so much detail just in this one page. It really shows basically everything you need to know about this particular layout. It's awesome.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I think it's a pretty exciting thing as well. So
Yeah.
very nice to see it.
Well, I think we're at a place where we might be able to take a second and see if we have any questions. I do see that there is a question. Someone was asking about the possibility of single loaded roads in the layout. It
Yeah,
looks like you might have something that you could show us for that.
yeah, I no, it doesn't necessarily don't have something quite here, but what I
Okay.
could do is, for instance, we do have this open space. If we th pretended like that was a lake, for instance, and I'll use
Hmm.
that because that's already a restricted area. Essentially, I could butt up the road to the restricted area, whether it's a wetland, open space, other site constraint. And what would happen when I do generate the layout is it's only going to put lots on this side of the road. So now we can see that the lots are only on one side of the road. And, that's how we would do single loaded roads. And so I've seen, in some cases, kind of putting it around a lake or around some sort of wetland or, where a trail area forested is going to be, which, makes a nice aspect for community living.
That's great. And speaking of roads, another workaround here with if you wanted to have roads that did not automatically generate lots, my understanding is you could use the restricted area for that. That straight line, we could use that. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of similar to what I did here. I just,
Hmm.
basically deleted a lot with the open space. It's really easy to, I could even just, kind of go over here and it's going to, just deleted the other lot. So pretty easy
Hmm.
to do that. And then if I was to go back, I think I'd have to, oh, it just came back. So, and if it doesn't come back, just press that generate layout button and it'll reset everything.
That's really cool. Okay, so just checking in here, I got another question about support for Layout Generator. I know that we have an AI tool that's connected to this for that. Would you mind showing that to us?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, it's actually pretty easy. What we have here is our Fin AI bot here. So, actually, it looks like it just pulled up a previous conversation I had. So that's a good example. So we have our AI agent. For instance, actually, I did ask where the LiDAR data come from. It looks like UGS 3D EP, so public stuff, and it even gave me some additional information, some screenshots to help. So. For in this case, I could actually escalate this to a human if it was a more advanced question or some sort of bug. And Matt, actually, I believe your team is partially on this along with the product team. Isn't that right? You can see all the questions.
That's right. Yep. Whenever those questions come in, if it gets to a point where the AI fin can't help out, we are more than happy to jump in. And for the CS team, you're always welcome to book time with us, and we can share a screen and walk through whatever question you might have, show you best practices, all that good stuff. We are super excited about this product and very happy to help out with that for sure.
Awesome. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think that's all the time that we have for today. I do want to thank everyone who joined the call. If you have any questions in our chat that we did not get to, we will follow up with an opportunity for more discussion about Layout Generator in the form of a short survey. So please look for that and respond so that we are sure to answer all of your questions. Within that, you can also request a demo for yourself and your team, or you can email us at events@traceair.net. So on behalf of TraceAir, Mary and myself, thank you so much for joining today and take care.
Yeah, definitely, take use of that email address. And like Matt said, if you do have any other questions, we can, we'll be following up with them. There's quite a few. So, we'll get to all of them. So thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.